I really enjoy spreading this message. And, I've talked about SEO for years, but I came to the realization that a lot of people aren't ready for SEO. They don't have any way to convert. So that's why I kind of went a couple steps back and kind of recreated my own wheel and created the ACT marketing protocol. It's the ad agency method for how they do things. And as you know, as us little guys, we don't have deep pockets. I mean, we can't afford to go to an ad agency and throw $100,000 at them and see if they can make it work. We just don't have that ability. So it's kind of what I've done is I've taken what they do, packaged it up so you can do it yourself. So now everybody has access to the same thing. I love the whole underdog thing. I love leveling the playing field. When you're creating a marketing campaign for your company, it doesn't matter what you sell or what you do. It's all the same basic thing as a first step. You have to be able to grab attention. If you can't grab attention, it doesn't matter how good you are, how good your products are, how good your services are, they're never going to be seen. I've never heard anybody break it down like I do. Like I break it down, there's 3 pieces to it. Every big idea I've ever seen has 3 pieces, and they're all the same every time. So that means it's a formula, it's a recipe that can be reproduced over and over and over. And it is in the ad space. But I want that to come down to our world. I want the little guy to be able to get the same results and reproduce that every time without fail. It starts with a promise. You have to figure out what your prospect actually desires. It's like they're on a timeline and they are where they are and we're never where we want to be, right? We always want to be somewhere else. We always want something better. If you told me you wanted $1 million and I handed it to you, what would you want? 2 million, right? We always want something down the timeline. So figuring that out is really important so you can create the right promise. Because what you're doing here, and I'm going to get to this in the next piece, you're really, it's called seducing the heart. The heart loves promise. The heart's where all the desires live. So you're making that promise of what they really truly want. And next, the next thing is like, it's not believable, right? If we thought we could have had that, we would have already done it, right? So there's this big block in the way, and we have to give it a believable factor. We can't just throw empty promises out. They have to believe that it's attainable. And that is called a unique mechanism. That's the thing that you do that they're going to buy that's going to deliver the result. So the messaging and the packaging of that, really, really important. And again, there's little formulas for all of that stuff. But the third piece to it is being able to say it in an intriguing way that they've never heard it before. And sometimes that's difficult. That takes some creativity, but it is doable. It's definitely attainable. It's kind of like, when you do something for the first time, it's awkward. This is no different. It takes practice, but you can get good at it. I know I did. It was very awkward for me at first. And now it's just changed the way I think about everything. When I see things, I'm thinking big idea all the time. It's like a movie going on in my head. Unique mechanism is really a key. And if you've ever watched the movie, it's actually a series called Mad Men. And it's actually about David Ogilvy back in the 50s, how the ad agencies worked. And you can them at play, like creating these big ideas. And sometimes you think that's ridiculous, but it works. It's like, when they were trying to figure out how to sell cigarettes back when, they had to put on the package that these things cause cancer. And they had a big problem. And one of the things he came up with was saying that our tobacco is toasted. And the reality of it was they're all toasted, but no one ever said it before. So they used that as a unique mechanism to make people think, hey, these are better. These are This is a better cigarette. Once you've grabbed their attention, step 2 now is you actually have to go to work. This is where your ad campaign, your marketing funnel, whatever you want to call it, your sales process, your presentation, whatever it is, this is the work now. You've got their attention, their eyes are on you. Now's your time to perform. So what you have to do at this given point is you have to create demand and desire for what it is that you're offering. And there's 2 things at play here. I kind of alluded to these earlier. You have to seduce the heart, and at the same time, you have to convince the head. Now, it's almost like you're selling to 2 people, because we have a subconscious and a conscious, and they're both working. The subconscious is the heart. That's where the desire lives. When you want to seduce the heart, you make promises. You promise what the heart desires, and it falls in love with it. And the heart is, like I said, it's the subconscious. It doesn't have reason to it. It's like a little kid. It wants what it wants, and it wants it now. As soon as it sees what it wants, I want that. I don't care about anything else. The world could fall apart. I want that. And the head now is going to step in the way. The head is going to become your problem. The head's the conscious mind. And the job of the head's the parent. It wants to protect the heart at all costs. It does not want the heart to be broken. So it's where the objections are going to come through. It's going to say, nope, I don't believe that. We're not going to do that. I've seen that before. All kinds of stuff. It's like, you've got the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other, and they're talking in the ears. That's what's going on when you're presenting. So you've got to address both of those things. You have to seduce the heart with the promise of what it's going to get, what it wants. And then you have to convince the head that it's real and it's factual, and we can actually deliver this, and we can deliver and make the heart happy. We're not going to break the heart. So all objections are based on beliefs. And, I talk about going back and finding these formulas. The formula for overcoming an objection, I found it 300 years ago in history from Benjamin Franklin. And this formula is still being used today in modern advertising. And I've never heard of anyone that connected these dots. I actually went back and found it. And his formula for taking an objection, he knew that every objection was based on a belief. The belief may or may not make sense to you. It may have logic to it. It may not. But it's still a belief. It's in their head, and it's real to them. So they might just believe they can't do it because they tried it before. Didn't work. They might believe it because someone else tried it that they knew, and it didn't work. So their belief is it doesn't work. You cannot sell something to somebody if they don't believe it works, right? That's the head getting in the way of what the heart wants. The heart obviously wants the outcome. The head's going to say no.
This is an effective system for online sales. This is where you can generate sales while you sleep. If you can create your landing page copy or your funnels, and you're just moving them down step by step and continually overcoming objections, right, John? That this is that system that will help you make sales while you sleep, because you've got all the components, the whole formula. It's a recipe, like you said.
Exactly. In the real world, we have the luxury of taking no and turning it into a yes. In the online world, we don't get that luxury. Once it's no, it's game over. They're gone. So you're absolutely right. Understanding your prospect at a very deep level, understanding what their questions are. Their questions, yes, just like you said, they're objections because they didn't understand something. It could be just that simple. So you have to understand all of that so you can convey it in your messaging. So we eliminate all those objections before we get to the last final key component, which is creating that irresistible offer. You've educated them. You've showed them that you can deliver what they want. You've eliminated the objections. Now it's time for the offer. Some people call this a call to action. Some people call it an order page, an order button. but it's time for them to make a decision whether they're going to move forward with you or not. So it's an offer. It's like, here's what I have. Here's how much it is. It's the explanation of what's going to happen in the transaction. It's like, you're going to get this. It's going to cost you that. Here's how the process works. Again, so they can understand it, so it doesn't raise any more objections. So some of the pieces, there's a lot of things, you don't have to use them all, but as far as an irresistible offer, I'll just tell you some of the key components, some of the things that a lot of people use to do this. One of them is you have to make it believable. If it's too cheap, if it's too good to be true, like if you're going to discount your offer, you need to rationalize why you're discounting it. Like an example is, hey, I'm doing a conference and my seats to the conference are normally $9.97 and people have bought them. 3/4 of the room is sold out. Here's my problem. I'm going to videotape this room and I want it to be full. I need it to be full. So this is your advantage. I'm going to sell the rest of the tickets out at just $97. That's 10% of what these other people paid. They might think, well, it's not worth it for 97, but I just rationalized why it really is. They're getting $1,000 value for $97. They kind of get to feel like they're taking advantage of me, but I'm telling them why I'm allowing it. The next thing is exclusivity. This is only available to people in this association. This is only available to local residents, whatever it is. You don't always have that, but if you do, you use it to your advantage. Another thing is limits. You know, this is like scarcity. Maybe I only have 10 seats left. They're going to go quick. You know, that's also a sense of urgency. You know, urgency might also be in the form of time. This offer expires at midnight. It's off the table. And if you decide after that, it's still available to you. It's just going to cost you a little bit more. So, and again, you rationalize the discount, tell them why, and they're good with it. As long as you explain things, as long as there's nothing left untouched, ununderstood, that they get it. It's the biggest thing is communication. So another thing really important is risk reversal. This is a huge objection, is what if I don't like it? What if it doesn't work for me? What if the moon turns green and something happens, and, you know, it doesn't even have to be real, but if it's in their head, it's real to them. There's a ton of what ifs that you just can't even fathom how many what ifs there are when it comes to this purchase decision. So you want a risk reversal. You can say, for any reason, if this doesn't feel right to you after 30 days, we'll give you your money back, no questions asked. That's like a risk reversal. You know, it doesn't fit on all cases, but if it does, use it to your advantage. It's a really good thing. Other things is trivializing the price. So it looks kind of ridiculous for them to not do it. Like when I do the ACT program, I discount it. I have all the rationalization of why it's discounted and all that. But when it comes down to the discount price, I've got it at $497. And I break that down. I trivialize that price. I'm like, that's like $1.36 a day. What could you buy for $1.36 a day that's going to be more important than your success? Then you can also contrast with if-then statements. If you don't do this, your life's not going to change. You know, I'm sure you've heard that statement, if you want things to change, you have to make a change. If you don't change, if you don't do this, I've already described this as the best possible thing for you to move forward and get your desired outcome. If you don't do this, you're not going to get that. Things are going to remain the same. Whatever you're going through, you're going to continue to go through it. The other thing too that I want to get across, that I've never seen any other person do this when they sell you a product, you get to take me home with you to help you. And that comes in the form of weekly support calls. I've got an ongoing program for support and mentorship, and it's under $30 a month to have me on your team teaching your team. You can put your whole team into that program. So you want the outcome of this. You want ad agency results, but you've got your hands full in your business. You don't want to do the work. You don't want to create all the copy, but you have a team that's what they're for. Instead of you trying to lead that team, not really knowing how to do it, I'll lead the team for you. I do it through weekly conference calls. I look at copy, I edit it, I help them and give them direction all the way through so you can actually get this done. ACT it's like a compilation of all the ad agency formulas. And I've kind of broken it down into 3 buckets. The A in ACT stands for analysis. And that's what, you've touched on this many times throughout this segment of how important it is to understand your prospect, your ideal customer, what they're all about at a really deep level. And that's what the A is. We spend a lot of time there before we move to the C, which C is creation. And everybody jumps into creation first. And that's just the kiss of death, because you wind up spinning your wheels creating stuff you don't even know who you're creating it for. So your odds of having that work, pretty minuscule. So we like to do things in the right order, the same order the ad agencies do this. They don't touch creation until they know everything about their target market. It's the right target market. It's a profitable target market. All of that. They get all those questions answered, and then they move into that creation mode. Then they go to work creating the funnel, creating the messaging, creating the seduction of the heart, convincing of the head, the irresistible offers, all of that stuff. That's all creation. And then the T is traffic. Once you have the machine in place, what's going to fuel your sales is now bringing it in front of your ideal prospects. That's traffic. So analysis, creation, and traffic. And again, I've broken them down. There's no technical terms. I don't use anything you don't understand. I use the language that you used in about 3rd grade. If it's not for you for any reason, we have a 30-day full money back guarantee. There's no reason that you wouldn't try it out.